marketing freaks, it's Adon here, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about email marketing and email prospecting, to be specific. Now, there's a lot to it, but it's not complicated, but getting all the tools sometimes can be a little overwhelming for a lot of people, so they kind of shy away from it. But today I'm going to show you how to help increase the likelihood of getting an appointment or getting a response when you are prospecting through email. You're not going to want to miss this. I'm going to show you a cool little trick that a lot of people don't know about. All right, so a lot of you know my history, right? I'm a sales guy that is in the process of becoming a marketing guy. And when you are prospecting or using social media, let's call them digital tools such as email, text messaging, and things like that, there is an art and a science to it. Now, being a sales guy, I very much rely on and have relied on my ability to make a phone call or walk in somewhere, read body language, read tone, and kind of tweak or adjust my message according to the response or behavior or vibe or interaction I had or received with the prospect. But was a rude awakening for me. It took me a long time to recognize that when we are in the digital world, and we are definitely in the digital world, and COVID has forced us into the digital world, and quite frankly, I don't see it going back. I see it being maybe going back a little bit more like it was, but a lot of people like virtual digital prospecting, like being contacted through digital. It's a lot cheaper. There's less travel costs. There's all these things. So it's imperative that whatever normal goes back to after COVID, whatever that looks like, this stuff is going to be extremely relevant to everybody. And it's going to be relevant to whatever industry you're in, but very specifically, it's important to the janitorial cleaning industry because some of the things I'm going to talk to you about aren't so obvious or aren't so well known in this sector and in this industry. Whereas some of these things I've talked about and have learned, and I'm going to show you, if you're in a different industry such as tech as an example, it's, some of this stuff has just been going on for a long time and it's not new. So what is it I want to talk to you about and show you? Well, I'm going to get into that. Now, one of the things that I really struggled with and did when I first started in the marketing world is I just had an idea. I said, okay, I'm going to send this email to somebody. And I didn't think much about what I was writing, and I didn't think much about what I was saying. But when we are doing email marketing, email prospecting, we have to recognize the most important thing we do is the subject line. And the subject line is like a book cover, right? We all judge a book by its cover. So if you've ever gone to a bookstore, or even if you're on Amazon looking at books, a lot of the times the book cover makes you decide whether or not you pick that book up and skim through it, or if you click on and investigate more about that book. And sometimes the book could be absolutely phenomenal, but if the book cover does not draw you, does not attract you, does not make you want to look at it, the book doesn't get sold. And so when we're in marketing, when we're trying to prospect, the subject line is very important. The subject line is the book cover. And an email gets judged by the subject line. So the better the subject line, the more likelihood that someone is going to click it, open it, read it, and respond to it. So when we put ourselves in our shoes, what do? Well, we can sit there all day long and think of, creating a great subject line, but you really don't know if it's going to be responsive. You might think it's really cool, but it could be a subject line that sucks and no one likes, and no one responds to it. In a different way, but along the same token, is when the 4-Hour Work Week book came out. That actually had a few different titles, and what happened is they posted the title of the book on Google for different titles, and the amount of people that clicked it indicated the interest level of the book. And of course, the 4-Hour Work Week drew everybody in and was hands down the winner, and thus became the name of the book. But that was not the original idea. And so by testing the different book titles, he was able to determine which was the best book title in order to sell his books. Thus, without the name The 4-Hour Work Week, it would have probably not done as well. But he tested it, and that's what we want to do. We want to test our emails and our subject lines. So depending on the program you use, then you will use that program. But with my program, Janitorial Marketing Solutions, let me take you there and show you what I mean using this program. So it's important to recognize that we have our email, right? So I've already preset it ready here. And it's just an email that says, I'm just checking to see if you're the person responsible for lead generation at company placeholder. Means it's going to change the name of their company to whoever I send it to. Okay, so if I send it to 10 people, they all obviously work at 10 different companies. It's going to plug in their company name as it sends out, so that I don't have to do 10 emails and go ABC company, DEF company, HIJ company, right? So we put that placeholder in. If you aren't the right person to contact, can you please forward me onto the person I should contact? Please advise. So that is a very simple introductory email to elicit and ask for, are you the right person, or who should I speak to? So I want someone to open the email. I want them to read it. I want them to respond to it. All of those things. And this is just one email out of a sequence that I send as an example. But the subject line here is what I want to really focus on and have you pay attention to. The subject line in this email is grow revenue in 2021. Now, I also want to test it. I don't know that that's the right subject line, right? It sounds great to me. I would probably click it, grow revenue 2021. I would probably click it, especially it's January. But maybe my target audience doesn't. Maybe it doesn't resonate with them. Maybe most people think it's cheesy or whatever they think. I don't want to live in my world. I want to live in their world. So what do my prospects, what do my potential customers, what do they think? What do they like? What resonates with them? So I'm going to create that exact same email, okay, with a different subject line. So I'm going to, you'll see here, I got version 1, I've got version 2. So I'm going to go to version 2. I'm going to plug it in here. And sorry, that's the wrong one. I already have version 2, so I'm going to go to version 1. So if I open version 1, okay, and I'm going to insert it into the thing. Exactly same thing. I am just checking to see, blah, blah, blah. But this subject line is potential lead generation partnership. Okay, so I have the exact same email going to go out, and I have grow revenue in 2021, and I have potential lead partnership, potential lead generation partnership. Which one's better? I don't know. And I can assume, and let's say I have a list of 100 people. I can send it to the 100 people, but I'm risking it because I don't know which subject line is the best. And that's what I want to kind of show you today. What we want to do is we want to take our email list. So let's just say for easy example, that the list is 1,000 people. So I don't want to send an email to 1,000 people and then send the same email with a different header to the same 1,000 people, right? What I want to do is I want to see what's the most likely success I'm going to get, whether or not I send version 1 or I send version 2. Do I send the one with the potential lead generation partnership, or do I send the one with the subject line? Do I send the one with the subject line grow revenue in 2021? So I don't know. So here's what we do to find this out. Now, it's called A/B testing in the tech world, but at the end of the day, it's testing. It's testing either version A or version B, version 1 or version 2. Which one is better? So when I go to my program here, I'm going to go to Campaign Optimizer. Every program is different. They can have different names and what have you, but that's not the example I want to show today. So here I have name your campaign. So I'm just going to go, show example. Okay, so then I'll know what it was later. Now, in this particular thing, I have 2,600, in this particular group, I have 2,679 contacts. Now, I can send it to all of them, what have you. I'm going to send it to all of them, but I want you to watch what I'm about to do. When I come here, choose your test message. So I have test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can do up to 5 different subject lines. So I can do the same email, but with a different subject line 5 times. I can test 5 different ones at one time, but I'm only just going to test the 2 for today. So I'm going to go to click here. Sorry, click here, and I'm going to go to, where am I? Here we go. Okay. I'm going to go version, ask for a referral. Email 1, ask for a referral, right? And I'm going to write potential lead generation partnership. See, it says right there. And then I'm going to go to the exact same email, but with a different header. And I'm going to go to that one. And I am going to get version 2. There we go. So you see I have email 1, ask for a referral. Email 1, ask for a referral. Potential lead generation partnership is the header. Grow revenue in 2021 is the header. So which one's going to do better? I don't know. I could test another 3. I could test 5. So here is what it says. Now you see, choose your test audience. So you know I have 2,900 in this, 2,679 in this particular group. I got a bunch of different groups here, as you'll see, okay? So if I send it to 5%, that is roughly 133 people. So I can say test it to 10% or 27% or 18%. I'm going to test it with 5%. I think 5% is fine, 133 people. So what's going to happen is it's going to send out both emails, but to only 5% of my contacts in this group. So it's only to 5% of the 2,600. So what it's going to do, it's going to send approximately, there's 133, 5% of 2,679 is roughly 133 in my head very quickly. So it's going to send roughly 70, or roughly 67 email 1 to 67 contacts, and it's going to send email 2 to 67 contacts, roughly. Okay, and when it does, it's going to send them out. And then you'll see right here, it says, wait 2 hours. So it's going to send it out, and it's going to wait 2 hours. I could make it wait a day. I could make it wait 2 days. I can make it wait 5 hours. But you want to send it out, and you want to give it time for the people it goes to see who opens and clicks it. And so what happens is it sends email 1 out. It sends email 2 out to 60 some odd people, 60 some odd people. And it automatically measures which one does better. So one might get a 10% open rate, another one might get a 12% open rate. It might get 27%, it might get 22%. But each one's going to be different. It's almost impossible to get exactly the same. So one's going to do, let's say, 11%, one's going to do 10%. So that means that the likelihood of one email is going to get a higher open rate than the other one based on the subject line. And that's what this is going to do. So now I say, go out today or tomorrow or whatever time I want. I press send, and it's going to take my 2,679 contacts. It's going to take 5% of those. It's going to send one email header to half of that 5%. It's going to send another email header to the other half of the 5%. It's going to wait 2 hours, and it's automatically going to say, analyze, oh, this subject line did better. And then in 2 hours from now, or whatever I choose, it's going to send the better response rate, open rate email header to the rest of the 2,679. So in 2 hours from now, it's going to analyze which one's done better, and then it's going to send the better response email to my full database, and in this case, 2,679. So again, we could have done 5. We could have picked 5. We could pick 3. So this is what you want to do, because especially if you're doing prospecting on a regular basis, because we want to get a system, right? So we want to sit back and say, okay, and we want to tweak the system and perfect the system. So we don't want to just say, oh, you know what? I need to quickly do this email. The email sucks. No one responds. We want to art and science it. So we want to start tweaking it. We want to send it out. We want to say, hey, we got 11% response rate. Okay, great. Now, if we change one word, if we shorten it, if we add this, then we test it, and we come to a decision that this is a successful email header that gets a good response rate. And then what do? Then we move on to email 2, right? Once we have email 1 perfected, we move on to email 2. Because as I'm talking about here, maybe only 11% open it. So then tomorrow or 2 days from now or 3 days from now, we send email 2 and we tweak that header. And so we are having an email campaign, a prospecting campaign, not a one-time email. It's a campaign. We send it out to everybody. Some people open it, great. We then treat them differently. Part of our prospecting process. A whole bunch of people don't open it. We send them email 2, different header, different wordings. And so that is the process we do. So what we want to do in marketing in 2021 is we want to automate as much as possible, because it's a huge cost to the organization. It's a huge cost to get a salesperson to physically sit down every day and type an email or to phone a prospect, right? It takes time, and we're not cheap, and nor should we be. So let's automate the part that's automatable. Let's automate the prospecting. Let's automate the attraction as much as possible. When we get a bite, let's automate the fishing rod, right? Throw the fishing rod into the water, right? And as soon as we get a bite, then we automate and we start tweaking it. And then once we get a fish on the hook, boom, over to sales. Right? And you might be marketer and you might be sales. You might have a marketing guy. You might then, he or she might hand it off to you. Maybe you have a full team, but you have a mindset. You have marketing, you have sales. Marketing is automation as much as possible. Sales gets involved, and they do the virtual calls. They do the Zoom calls. They do the Skype calls. They do the qualification. They do the asking. They do the discovery. All we want to do is automate our prospecting as much as possible, and sales can deal with the interested people, and we can automate a lot of the looky-loos, the tire kickers, right? All we're doing is putting fish bait into the water, right? We're looking for nibbles, and then as soon as we get a bite, boom, then we pass that on to sales, because sales is better, but more equipped. They have the process in place to then take that customer on a discovery call to find out about their needs and stuff. But sales is too expensive, too busy, pulled in too many directions to be prospecting, closing, maintaining, prospecting, closing, maintaining. We want to try to separate it as much as possible. I hope you found this of value. If you would like to have this done for you, then that's what we do at Janitorial Marketing Solutions with our Marketing Freak program. And this is an example of what we do.
Are you in the janitorial supplies or services sector? Do you find that your margins are being squeezed and growing profitable sales is a struggle? If you answered yes, the reason might be that you are using outdated sales and marketing tactics from ancient time, like way back in 2010. But seriously, the world has changed, as well as your customers and prospects, but chances are your strategies have not. Introducing Janitorial Marketing Solutions. We create content in the form of articles and videos just like this. We post them on your social media channels such as Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and we send out this content in a personalized email marketing newsletter. We also include a complete CRM customer relationship management program with every package starting at just $50 per month. Call us today for a free complimentary consultation or visit us at www.janitorialmarketingsolutions.com and let's take your sales and marketing into the future.
Okay, so as you'll see, I hope you get from this session that email prospecting is very much like a book cover. The subject line dictates the response rate and your likelihood of success. So you want to think out the subject line, and then you want to have 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 subject lines, and then you want to test them. And then you want to see which one does the best. And then once you know which one does the best, the system automatically sends it out to the rest of your contacts, and you have a process in place to drive interest. That's marketing's job, to prospect, create awareness. And when the awareness is there and the prospect is ready to engage, boom, pass them off to sales. Hope you found this of value. And I am Adon Rigg, and you have been watching Marketing Freak every Thursday, 12 p.m. Pacific. I will see you in the next episode.